Hello, thank you for listening. This is the near death experience of Bridget. And Bridget's experience occurred in May of 1990 and was documented on March 28th of 2018. Open quote. Months prior to my experience, I had gone through an abortion. I dreaded my decision and actually contemplated suicide out of remorse and guilt feelings. I struggled with how to forgive myself and how to move on in life, trying to forget what I had done. I spent weeks of wishing death on myself and feeling undeserving of being able to live a full life, knowing I had taken a life. Then an auto accident was about to happen unbeknownst to me. I was leaving my mother's apartment and was heading back to my apartment. I had planned a barbecue with numerous friends the week prior. I was in a terrible auto accident. A huge boat of a vehicle rammed into my little flimsy car. The impact sent my face slamming into the steering wheel and actually bent it in half. I collided into the dashboard and broke it. It all happened so incredibly fast, and I had a pair of sunglasses on that embedded into my right upper brow. My face started to bleed profusely, and I struggled to get out of the car. I feared it would catch on fire or explode because it was still revving in gear, but not moving. I watched another person who witnessed the accident and was set on getting out of my car to try and get his license plate number before he could drive away. I couldn't figure out how to undo the seatbelt at first because, for some reason, I was attempting to unfasten it from the wrong side. When I did manage to undo the seatbelt and open my door, I proceeded out of my car. I took a step or two and my body went into shock. I fell completely backwards with my head hitting the street with full force. The next thing I know, I am in a space. It was not quite like a room with walls or doors, but it was an open space. It was so warm and comfortable. The best words to describe it was a feeling of utter contentment and peacefulness. It was bright and vibrant. God was there before me, and I was delighted to see that God was holding my child. The baby was an infant and perfect in size and shape. God spoke to me and said something to the effect of, "Everything is good. He is perfect, and I forgive you. Do not feel guilty. You are forgiven, and I love you." I wish I could remember verbatim what was said. We communicated, and I was able to touch and hold the baby. I felt complete peace and forgiveness. I was able to be with my child and embrace being a parent. God told me that He would watch over the baby and that he would be fine, but that I had to go back. He said that I would get to come back and be with my child in the future, but for now, I had a purpose and had to return. I felt reluctant about leaving because I wanted to stay here in this beautiful, warm, comfortable, peaceful place. And knowing that I was forgiven made my heart swarm with warm, fuzzy feelings. I said goodbye to my child, kissed him, and handed him back to God. I recall the baby being wrapped in a soft, silky blanket. It was a pleasant goodbye. There was no, all caps, feeling of doom or sadness having to leave. I was overwhelmed with relief and felt rested and, again, a peaceful, content feeling. I was then looking down at my body and at the circumstances going on below me. The intersection and streets were completely blocked off. There were police vehicles, ambulance, and many people in a circle around me. Someone was kneeling behind me and holding my head. Someone was praying for me. People were chattering, and there was a lot of hustle and bustle going on. People were walking up from the beach, which was only a block away. I could see me lying there in the middle of the street with all this commotion going on around me. I saw my favorite brand Guess overalls drenched in blood. I remember thinking, wow, how much time has passed that all of this has taken place since I fell to the ground. Then I smelled some strong scent of whatever was being held under my nose, and I was back in my body. I felt really heavy and like I had been drugged or was in a very deep sleep. I was trying to wake up, trying to open my eyes. My eyelids felt so heavy and I was not in any sort of pain. Then, when I opened my eyes, it was like someone turned the muted volume onto high and everything was very loud and present. I could comprehend the young men who were telling each other my heart rate and my vitals. Someone asked me if I knew where I was, what the date was, and what my name was. All I could think about was, are my teeth still there? All of those years of braces and neck gear, and my mouth felt like someone punched me and that my teeth had fallen inwards. I had swallowed a lot of blood, so much so that they thought they were going to have to pump my stomach. Oh, end quote. Goodness gracious. Bridget, that was crazy. Um, but what a powerful story. And there are some questions, so let's see if there's even more to learn. Question, did you feel separated from your body? Answer, yes. This is so difficult to answer that question without all the details. I could hear people praying for me, others having a conversation about the accident, medical terms were being used, and the police were assessing the situation and talking to other people who saw the accident occur. Question, rating your highest level of consciousness, comparing it. I am usually a very private, modest person, and I was completely naked, without clothing, and yet very aware and at peace. I felt completely comfortable and at ease. I was in no way distasteful. It was in no way distasteful or awkward, and I was in the presence of the Lord. This normally would have been completely uncomfortable and bizarre for me to experience. Question, when were you at your highest level of consciousness and alertness? Answer, number 1, when I was in the presence of God. And number 2, when I saw myself and realized I was not actually in my body but observing it from above. I was about a flying kite's distance from the ground. And 3, when I came to and heard everything louder and all at once. Question, comparing your vision. Answer, I have very blue eyes that are extremely light sensitive, and yet, when I was with God, it was extremely bright, and yet it did not hurt or affect my vision or my eyesight. I was extremely comfortable and able to look and communicate with my eyes being open. Question, comparing your hearing. Answer, nothing seemed out of the ordinary other than being able to have an audible conversation with God. It wasn't like it was telepathic. We were using our mouths to speak, and it was a calm and comforting level of speech. Question, did you encounter or become aware of any deceased or alive beings? Answer, yes, I saw God and my child, but neither were mystical. They were there before me. My child was alive and in human form. God was in a human form out of kindness and for comfort to what I could see and accept. I wouldn't say the baby was deceased because he was alive and moving in my sight. Seeing as God is Jesus, then I saw Jesus. Question, did you see an unearthly light? Answer, yes. Unearthly to me means extremely bright, all caps, and warm, but not harmful to my vision. I wasn't having to squint, or it wasn't painful to me to have my eyes open and be in the light. Question, what emotions did you feel during the experience? Answer, I felt perfect contentment and strangely at ease and peace with the whole situation. I was aware of all my surroundings and safe. Question, did you suddenly seem to understand everything? Answer, I understood that God was a loving, kind, forgiving God and wanted me to live without guilt and pain over a past experience that no longer held validity because my child was with him. Question, did scenes from your past come back to you? Answer, no. I became aware that God was aware that I had an abortion, and I was actually verbally told that I was forgiven and to no longer feel guilty for my past. Question, did you come to a border or point of no return? Answer, God told me I was not done and had a purpose to fulfill. The purpose was never declared as to what it was, nor did I inquire. Question, what was your religion prior to your experience? Answer, Christian. Question, have your religious practices changed since your experience? Answer, yes. I've grown stronger in my faith. Question, what is your religion now? Answer, Christian. Question, did your experience include features consistent with your earthly beliefs? Answer, both consistent and inconsistent. Question, have you had a change in your values and beliefs because of your experience? Answer, yes. I now believe in God without a doubt. I don't know anyone else who has met God. I am intrigued by what others think or imagine what God is really like. I cringe when I hear people say God does not exist. It makes me sad to think they don't realize his intent. Question, did you encounter or become aware of any beings who previously lived on earth who are described by name in religions? Answer, yes. Jesus is the Son of God, and therefore the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So seeing as I saw God, I guess you would say I saw Jesus too. Question, during your experience, did you gain information about universal connection or oneness? Answer, yes. I was made aware that God was actually real. My encounter reassured me that this connection is possible and a reality. Question, during your experience, did you gain special knowledge or information about your purpose? Answer, yes. I would consider that special knowledge, I guess, or reconfirming what he already states in the Bible. It is only other people who hold the standards for the judging and hurtful thoughts against someone who has gone through this experience. Question, during your experience, did you gain information about an afterlife? Answer, an afterlife definitely exists. I was informed that I would be coming back and that my child would continue living there without me, but in the care of God. Question, did you gain information about how to live our lives? Answer, yes. I don't think God just forgives me for this act. I feel like God wants others to know he loves and forgives them too, and that they should not begrudge themselves or get caught up in the feelings of guilt, remorse, pain, and suffering. Without a doubt, he comes from complete and utter love, compassion, unconditional love, and forgiveness. Even when we struggle with forgiving ourselves, he already has forgiven us. Question, during your experience, did you gain information about life's difficulties, challenges, and hardships? Answer, yes. That God does not hold our past over our heads and begrudge us for mistakes or bad choices. He loves us unconditionally and forgives us without any ties or conditions. Question, during your experience, did you gain information about love? Answer, yes. The love of my child was just as unconditional. Question, what life changes occurred in your life after your experience? Answer, large changes. I am very compassionate and emotionally sensitive to others and what is going on in their lives. I am not so judgmental of others. I treat people with kindness and love. I set boundaries and keep toxic people at bay. Question, how accurately do you remember the experience compared to other ones? I remember it more accurately. I have a very vivid memory of strange things that occurred. Do you have any psychic, non-ordinary, or other special gifts after your experience that you didn't have before? Answer, uncertain. I wonder if I am an empath. I am very tuned in to my intuitions, but I think I was before the accident, too. Question, are there one or several parts of the experience that are especially meaningful or significant to you? Answer, the whole experience, I think, was pretty special. I have only started talking about it more openly with other people lately because I feel a nudging that I am supposed to share my story. I am not quite sure why yet, and why now after all these years. Question, have you ever shared this experience with others? Answer, yes. The day I got out of the hospital, I told my mom. It brought her to tears, and I'm not sure if she was influenced by it. Question, what do you believe in the reality of your experience? Answer, experience was definitely real. It has been almost 28 years, and I still can remember it as if it was last week. I get very emotional when I speak about it. I no longer have any remorse about the decision I made, and the experience I encountered brings happiness to my heart. And that's in story there. And I'm very glad that that brought happiness to your heart, Bridget. And thank you for sharing that with us. I enjoyed reading it. And I hope you guys out there enjoyed listening. I hope you have a great day. Bye bye.